Whenever we talk smartphones or gadgets, a lot of people always have this complaint that why not a lot of Indian companies are making smartphones. I mean, they might not be making phones, but there are a lot of Indian companies that are doing well in other categories. And I have today with me Gaurav Khatri, who is the co-founder of Noise, one such brand which is doing really well in the personal audio and wearable category. So first of all, Gaurav, welcome to the show. How are you doing? I hope everybody is keeping safe on your end.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Manas. Everything is so far so good, and I hope everything is fine at your end also.
Yes, absolutely. Let me start from the top itself. See, if I'm not wrong, Noise was started in about 2014, and that was a time when we were not even sure where the tech industry in India stands, because it was a very early age. Geo hadn't happened, the internet revolution hadn't happened. The smartphones were also in a very early stage. A lot of these companies that dominate the market right now were not even there. So how did this idea of Noise came into be? What was the idea behind it? From where did this brand come up?
Right. See, the idea of business was honestly rooted in the personal problem, owing to the lack of availability of the well-priced, feature-rich, or more importantly, a cool, connected lifestyle products or gadgets that we talk about, right? So the inability to find such devices and experiences, led to a huge consumer insight and pointed toward an evident market gap that we could figure out, right? So that was a time when, honestly, me and my founder started talking to each other. We started talking to the different people that we had in our circle, taking the feedback. What do they feel about it? Because the products were available. ऐसा नहीं था कि there were no products, but products either were overly or very high priced, or even, I mean, they were either the Chinese knockoff, right? We did not deliver the brand experiences. Plus, there was no global, there was only global brands that were available in the market, right? And for such small accessories category that we speak about, right, which are the sub part of the mobile phones, are not penetrated well in India. They were, I'm sure they are penetrated well now in India, but they were not that greatly penetrated when we started. So, we just realized that there is a gap. We should really work on it. We got really positive feedback from the people that we were speaking, that this gap is scalable and we should really think about it. So with the desire to set up the business that's primarily speak to the millennials and Gen Z consumers, who are more affected today with what other feels about them rather than their own decisions, right? We all get influenced by what social media tells us and stuff like these. So we really wanted to advocate the notion of belief that not only tenants that allow you to remain connected with your own self. The idea was to listen to the noise within. So no, Dil Ka Shore is what we try and communicate. Hence the name came as that we should keep the brand name as Noise. And so yeah, that was the time and the gap that we identified, and we started working toward that.
So did you always know what are the categories that you're going to focus, or was it something else in the beginning and it has evolved or transformed over the years?
See, everything evolves, right?
Yeah.
So we are a completely bootstrapped business and still so far a profitable business. Everything starts with something else. You have the cash constraints, you have limited understanding of how the market will behave and stuff like these. So you keep on trying that first. The first important part for me, at least, was that I wanted to be very sure that what I'm feeling is this what India is also feeling or not. So we went into the accessories first and then saw what all things are there possible in the country and what is the feedback that we are getting from the consumer, and are we getting the acceptance of what we think. And that's when we realized ki, nahi, theek hai, the response is decent, and then we should really scale up into the category that we wanted to. So I'm personally very, very enthusiastic about the gadgets and the new technology that comes. So the idea was to always go on audio and wearable, because I personally feel it's a category that will control a lot of stuff going forward.
Were there also categories on the way where you thought you should be launching a product or very close to launching a product, but then decided not to, maybe it's not a good idea, or there were some doubts? Were there instances like that?
Yeah, well, that is there, and I think that keeps on jumping on everybody. You get fascinated by the categories which are, or the products which are temporarily there for a small duration. But honestly, to keep running the business and be true to the brand and the focus and to the consumer that you are speaking to, you needed to be very, very constrained about what exactly you need to do. You need to see how well the categories are connected to each other. On the one side, if I'll do a EV vehicle or something, suddenly I come to some other business, that doesn't sound really well, right? So to create a brand, we have to be very, very focused, and that's what we've kept. And we realized that we want to first finish what we are trying to do. Noise is basically a lifestyle tech gadget brand, right? So at least finish whatever is there in this category itself, because
Okay.
I see currently what we have is what 5 to 8% of penetration or less than that, in wearable in India. That penetration in globally is more than 20-25%. So there's a huge scope of the growth. So some thoughts keep on coming, some suggestions also keep on coming from different people. Ye kar lo, wo kar lo. But honestly, I strongly believe that if you really want to justify your business and brand, you need to be very, very focused on what was the aim of starting the business.
Any weird suggestion that you can share with us कि कुछ ऐसा आया था किसी ने बोला था
honestly अभी एकदम से याद नहीं है, बट हाँ
So
बहुत सी चीजें आती हैं जहाँ
I'll
पे
share
फॉर
one with
एग्जांपल.
you. I'll share one with
Yeah.
you. So once one of the company executives, he asked me for a suggestion ki we want to do this. What should we get into? And my suggestion to him was make a gaming device which you can put on your wrist. Okay. So
Okay.
a small display gaming device which I can wear, I can play like this. So I also, in the hindsight, no, it was a very weird suggestion because again, if you make a gaming device, you also need titles, you need copyright for that as well. You need to sign a lot of deals and
No,
also
those kind of feedbacks keep on coming to us. So why don't you do mobile phones? When is noise coming with gaming consoles and stuff? But honestly, this is not something we build the brand for, right? We need to work on our expertise, and honestly, ideas. So it's very easy, and they keep on popping in our head as well. What if tomorrow will happen that? Why not to start taking the cryptos and from the watches and stuff? But yeah,
NFTs, maybe
yeah.
NFT is the new
So
buzzword.
we really want to expertise into what we know.
Okay.
Don't want to get into what is not as the, I mean, it's not something that we doesn't know or probably have a very less understanding about.
Sure, definitely. So you have been around for a while now. I mean, it's been 8 years. But this particular category, the personal audio and wearable category, it has really exploded in the last 2-3 years. And I think the pandemic also somewhere helped because people were a little more dependent on their audio devices and a little more conscious about their fitness routine. So what sort of business growth have we seen in this period?
Absolutely. I think the question is very good because a lot of time when people ask me about the negative side of pandemic and stuff, and I mean, honestly, it's good that you know that how the categories have grown in the last 2-3 years and exploded, right? So honestly, if I tell you, noise is also, though we started in 2014 or so, but the real noise when we started going aggressive on the brand and really thought that now we have cracked what we want to do and stuff. This was 2018, right? When wearable was nothing, nobody knew what wearable is. And we kept our trials on, we kept on working on the feedbacks and stuff, and then we could make whatever we could make right now, right? With respect to the growth has been really, really fantastic. We have almost grown 30x in last 17 months. The revenue has grown 100% year on year from last 2-3 years. We are expected to do a GMV of around 1200 CR this year. Completely profitable and bootstrapped still. So this has been the growth.
The valuation
Honestly,
stands at?
blessing in disguise for us in terms of COVID, that these devices also got essentials
Yes.
now, right?
Yes. So I was asking the valuation stands at?
So we are doing a revenue of, I mean, by revenue, I mean the GMV of north of 11-1200 crores. So we are expecting this year to be closing, this financial year to be closing somewhere between 1000 to 1200 crore GMV.
Okay.
Not
So,
the net revenue.
एक मैं सवाल पूछूं फिर आपसे, आपको शार्क टैंक में बुलाया नहीं कि आप गए नहीं?
क्या शायद उतने बड़े हुए नहीं हैं अभी.
अच्छा, अभी बुलाया नहीं, इसका मतलब
मे भी इतने बड़े भी नहीं हो और उतनी सोच भी नहीं थी. एंड we are not funded, right? So whatever we have, all our efforts, money, everything is into the business right now.
Okay.
First we need to establish ourselves, then establishing others.
Yeah. How do you see 2022 though? I mean, ये 2 साल, as you told me, there were a lot of opportunities, and I also, because see, right, as you said, a lot of people think that this pandemic was a big challenge for companies, but when it comes to tech companies, along with the challenge came a lot of opportunities as well, because there was suddenly a increase in consumption of all the tech products across categories, be it laptops, smartphones, personal devices, everything, even television sets. Now this phase is kind of over us. Yes, I know that there are still new cases coming every single day, but things are looking better than what they looked about 12 months back, and hopefully in another few months we'll be over this period altogether. So how do you look at 2022? Do you see the demand suddenly also settling, or do you think that yes, now people have understood the need of these devices and will continue to update or upgrade their gadgets?
So I think it will be the later one, right? For in our category, at least the wearable, where we do more than 60% of our business, we honestly see, like I said before, also the penetration is very, very low at this point of time in the country, right? And this penetration is expected to be north of 10-15%. To do that, I think there is a huge scope for us as well to grow into this category. Plus, the category itself, forget about the penetration, the category itself is evolving at a very, very high speed. There is a new tech that is coming every day. So irrespective of the penetration and the consumer, the need increases, but we would still be working very, very hard in terms of developing the new and adapting the latest technology that are coming. So there will be new product that will keep on coming. So year 22 and 23 will be very, very important and big for us. And we are very positive in terms of how these will change our.
So what are the new products that we should expect? I mean, I'm sure पूरे साल का आप नहीं बता पाओगे, but I think for the first quarter, it's at least you would be sorted कि what you have in mind or certain.
Yeah, like you said, पूरे साल का बताना बड़ा मुश्किल है. बहुत सी चीजें can't open in public, but when you talk about what will come, so noises in wearable specifically, we are coming with 2 different set of series of watches, which will, for an example, one would have the accessibility of calling function. Okay. Right? That will allow you to accept calls and do a lot more stuff.
eSIM support.
We will have the entire range of the calling feature watched, and then there is another set of tech part that we are working on. So for an example, the high resolution displays, right? The AMOLED display screens that will be becoming a very, very prudent to the consumers, right? That will be the basics or the BAU ask for a consumer to have those features into their watches. So we are working on the entire series of AMOLED. We are working on the entire series of calling accessible watches and a lot more than that also.
So these will be part of the existing lineups or new lineups altogether? Existing lineups.
So the categories would be the same, right? We would be in these 2 categories very, very as a primary categories, these 2 categories will be there for the businesses. Okay. But overall, honestly, like I said before also, that there's a huge scope for us to penetrate the market right now. We have not even touched enough. For us, there is a lot to do in the same category. So we'll keep our focus very clear that we want to develop these 2 categories enough so that we can think about the other categories.
And just to be clear, Gaurav, when you say that calling feature, does it mean the eSIM support or just the ability to pick?
No, the ability to speak or take the call through the watches.
Watches, okay, through the microphone.
Not the eSIM one.
Okay, so my next question to you was anyway that I mean, apart from these categories, are there any? I mean, you have briefly touched upon it already, but are there any plans to enter into newer categories as well? I mean, something that we can.
So the categories that we are exploring at this point of time are or something that will complement the current categories that we have, right? You will not see a drastic change in the categories that we may choose. Something to go more deeper into the audio category that we are in. Currently, we are only doing neckbands and truly wireless, so you may see the expansion of the category there. Plus, the category that will cater to or go into the similar bracket of the new age tech products. Not something, at least in the near future, that we are seeing that will go very off from what we are doing right now.
Okay. And my last question to you is that, is there one thing that, you have not been able to do for whatever reason, be it the finances involved, be it the lack of technology or the market competition, but would want to do, if not this year, in future? This is one thing that you aspire to do in these categories that you are active in.
See, honestly, I don't think so. We have done anything that well. So we need to keep exploring. So far we have not done a lot of branding, right? Branding is something that should be our primary goal. We have not spent huge monies on TVs or the bigger mediums that the bigger brands do. So that has been completely untouched. So probably that is one thing that we will be exploring this year, and that's something that we want to go gung-ho on.
Okay, so all the best for that. I hope, Gaurav, that you continue to grow, continue to launch new products, enter into newer segments as well. And I hope all our viewers who are watching this interview, I hope that you found this interesting, some insightful information there as well. And I hope that you are also on Shark Tank very soon. So all the best for that as
Hopefully.
well.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mana. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.